start with DTS. So what I would say is that a DTS is a 5 months ministry that is an opportunity for those who are involved to come together in a community where you live and learn together. And really, you are practicing different Christian practices daily and weekly in such a way that you yourself are growing, right? You're becoming more like Jesus. But in addition, some of the Christian practices that you're engaged in is loving your neighbor, witnessing to the gospel, doing acts of service, as in compassion, etc. And in the regular rhythm of practices like worship, intercession, extending hospitality to others, being engaged in small group type activity where you encourage one another, you might support one another in certain ways, you'll be learning together. Anyway, it's a rhythm of practices, right, that you do together in community, both in a local YWAM base and then eventually in an outreach in any city or village as God leads you throughout the world. So you're often sitting together in class where you're being instructed. You might be serving together as you're washing dishes or cooking food or cleaning the facility in some way, maybe washing windows, like whatever you're doing to do your part in the community. You're often engaged with people that don't know Jesus on the streets as you're just daily interacting on the streets, but intentionally going out on outreach. So it's a dynamic 5 months where you experience God together, and then you ask God how you together can make him known in some very specific ways. That's what I would say a DTS is. Oh, the core of the DTS. Well, here's the thing. You know, what a DTS is God is calling staff and students. He's, you know, if there's a school being led somewhere, it's because the school leader and the school staff and the base that is running this DTS, God has spoken. And he's spoken to the staff and leader to specifically gather students. And then I'm trusting that God is calling those students as well. And so here's a community of God's people that are coming together for at least a 5-month period of time. And they are hungry to meet with God, right? They're hungry for their relationship with God to deepen. They're willing to have their relationships with one another be ones that are authentic, where they trust one another, where they build one another up. And in that kind of context of worship and intercession and service and learning from lecturers that come in, they have their heart turned toward the nations. They have their heart turn toward the things that are on God's heart, and they're making themselves available to witness about Jesus, to do the works of Jesus and acts of compassion or acts of justice. And they're willing to then go out for at least 2 months, if not 3, to see God's work being done in another place. And that is just to have a dedicated group of people 24/7 for almost 5 months, engaging together in God and then do his work in the world. Like that is, I mean, why not be excited about that, right? And we have that going on, you know, in almost 95 different languages around the world. And there's really a million plus man hours of DTS staff and students throughout the nations that are doing God's work. And that's just so exciting. Oh, you know what? It's minimum 5. So so it's minimum 5, but and honestly, most places in the world only do 5. Personally, I prefer 6 months because it means you get a longer outreach. And I like the longer outreach. I think it gives you more time to get adjusted to where you're going, and you can actually meet more people and go a bit deeper with people. So it's minimum 5 months.